Hey everyone, Dr. Troy Dickwitz here. Super excited to go where we're going right now. So you've completed hopefully the first part of phase 4, which is just all about clarity and your vision, and your mission and your values. And it really should just give you a solid idea of a maybe hopefully for some of you, a stronger foundation from which to build your business on. When you get your entire team rallied around what we're talking about right now, in terms of the culture and the values and those sorts of things, you're just gonna find that productivity goes up. So many of you have a hard time getting people to do stuff, or if they do it, they're afraid to fail. They don't get started. They're late with deadlines. You're not holding them to their deadlines. And it really, quite frankly, where you're at right now is a result of all those actions. So maybe you think, oh, well, my team doesn't do that. Well, there's still another level in your team and you have to find that level. So if you sit at the status quo with the values and vision or mission that you've currently had, and you don't find some way to shift it, then guess what? They're going to stay right there. So what we've just done with the initial exercise is to create a shift. Now we want to create more of a shift. So that shift should give you if you literally just look at your documents that you filled out and read them daily and take them to work with you daily and wrap your head around a new culture that you've created, and you understand your mission as a leader, and you take that with you every single day over 30 days, you're going to start to be that person that you are reading about. And the people around you, through laws of attraction and magnetism, are going to shift with you. How beautiful is that? But it all starts from the center shift, and that center shift is the shift that happens inside of you. It's got to start with you, okay? So we've got an understanding of culture and experiences that we want to have both for employees and for customers that come in. Now we want to take a look at, and we're going back to question number 1. If you remember, question number 1 was, what do you want? Okay? But the first thing we're going to do is I like to call a reflect and project. Now, for my personal clients, they will go deeper down a rabbit hole on this. We're going to reflect on this past quarter, and we're going to project on where it is that we want to go. What I'm sharing with you is relevant for everyone. My clients merely have a journal for what we're talking about right now, and you probably have to sit and write it down on paper if you are somebody who is watching this who is not a part of our tribe. So we do a reflection and we say, okay, we look at 4 main areas, and we say, let's look at our body, let's look at our being, which is our spirituality, let's look at our balance, which is our relationships, spouse, significant other, children, and then we look at our business. Okay? And you should have goals, and we like to call them targets. You should have goals or targets in these areas that you are working on through the course of every 90 days. This way you find that you're growing in 4 main areas of your life. Your health, you are growing in your relationships, your relationship with God, spirituality, connection to self and purpose, and your business, known as your business and your bank accounts. So I want to have targets that I want to hit through the course of a 90-day period of time. And so what you do right now is you take a look at, and for those of you who have a commitment journal, you open your commitment journal and you go and you take a look at and reflect, what are the targets that I've had in this quarter? And you write down, what was the challenge? What was the target that I had, right? What was the target that I had this quarter for body? Then you answer the question, did I hit it? It's yes or no. It's not no because of this. It's not no because of that. Did you hit it? Yes or no. And when you look at the target that you created, what is the greatest lesson that you learn from that particular challenge that you put yourself under for the last 90 days? And that's it. Just answer the question. Then you go to being, your spirituality. Maybe you had something for meditation or learning the laws of attraction, or maybe prayer, daily prayer, or reading the Bible or something like that. Okay, well, what was your target? My target was to read the Bible daily. Did you hit the target? No. Okay, what did you learn from this? I learned that the Bible goes way deeper than I ever thought, and it was going to take me way longer than 90 days to really read and absorb it. I didn't just want to read it and be, say that I read the Bible. So what did I learn from that? Because I want it to be a little bit tighter. Ego could win out over learning. Maybe it's something as simple as that. So then where in my life am I letting ego take over where it needs to just take a back seat, right? So what's the lesson? So you look at the lesson that you're learning from each one. I go to balance, my relationships. What was the target that I had? If you don't have targets in your relationships, you need to get to work on it. We're going to create those today. What's the target in your relationships? Did you hit it? Yes or no? No excuses here. No bullshit. Did you hit it? Yes or no? Plain and simple. And what's the lesson that you learned from that? And then finally, in your business, did you hit it? Yes or no? It doesn't matter what's going on in the world right now. It does not matter. Did you hit the target? Yes or no? That's it. And what's the lesson that you learned from that? Okay, so that is a quick hit, simple, reflect and project. You're reflecting on what you did, and then we want to turn around and project where it is that we want to go. So that's where the fun begins. We come down here, and for those of you who have a commitment journal, you're going to open up to quarter 2, and you're going to go to body. I'll show you this right now. I have mine in front of me. Okay, you're going to go to body, and you're going to go to fruit. You're going to go to body, and you're going to go to fruit. Fruit says, and we use fruit as essentially, what are the fruits of your labor, right? What is it that you will have accomplished in the next 90 days when it comes to your health? Very simple, folks. What will you be able to say that you have accomplished in the next 90 days when it comes to your health? You're writing down targets for your health. Then you go to the next one. You say, okay, being. Where do I want to be in the next 90 days when it comes to being? What do I want to say that I have accomplished in the next 90 days? And maybe it's, for some people, it's getting back to church. So they just want to get back to church every Sunday. So that's 12 weeks of church. But not just showing up for church. At the end of church, every single Sunday, they're going to do a journal entry about what they learned. So you're not just going there so you can say that you went to church. You're going there, you're learning something, and you're writing it down. And if you really want to make it a real true to heart challenge, you then share those entries at the end of the challenge with 3 people. And we call it challenge, right? So we have a 90-day challenge that we're working on. So I'm going to share that entry at the end of the challenge. Let me do this. We'll just do it this way. 90 days. Then I go to balance. For me, the wife, what's my target? Wyatt, Watson, Walker. What's my target? What do I want to accomplish in the next 90 days for family? And not just the family as a whole, but individually. And then finally, we look at business. And I might say, okay, I've got my business that I'm running, but then I also have a bank account. So I might have 2 separate ones here. Where do I want to see this in 90 days? It's just getting clarity. It's taking the time to go through each 4 of these categories. Notice I didn't stop and have you say, hey, go do this and come back, go do this and come back. I'm saying, like, these are the things that we're talking about. What I would tell you to do right now is now stop. Now stop and go back and write down what you want in body. Then go write down what you want in being. Then write down what you want in balance. Then write down what you want in business. Be very clear on what it is that you want. Not, I would like to have about, I want 30K in the bank on top of the money that I make for my business. I want 80K in the bank on top of money I make for my business. Some of you are going, yeah, but shit, dude, like, we don't know when we're gonna be able to get back into our offices. We don't know when we're gonna be able to get back to taking care of people. We're on limited flow right now of taking care of people. You have to look at it through the eye of where it is that you want to go in the next 90 days. That's it. Don't let that cap you. Because what happens is for the first 30 days, your focus might be on, and I've said this before, go watch the video, preloading the spring. Your focus for the next 30 days might be on going back to phase 2 and working on things that need to get done. Or as we work on the next step in this, which is focus, you're gonna find a whole new set of focuses that you need to have and work on over the course of the next 30 days that preload you for the following 60 days. You can accomplish whatever it is that you want, but do not let limited thinking and scarcity pop in. I know some of you are like, yeah, but dude, it's reality right now because we have we have nothing but uncertainty. I understand that, but are you going to let uncertainty paralyze your future? Or are you going to create your future right now? Because that's the opportunity that you have, is to create your future right now. So I'm going to have you, we're just going to hit pause right now, hit the pause button right now, roll up your sleeves and get to work on this. Body, being, balance, and business. What is it that you want over the course of the next 90 days? All right, welcome back. So let's go ahead and roll up our sleeves, and we're gonna hop into right now the focus. So traditionally, I'll tell you, here's what we do. There's fruit, which is what I want. It's your goal, or what we like to call a target. There's feelings, which is so important to attach here. We're not doing it for the sake of this exercise. We're getting right to the nuts and bolts of this. But feelings, which is what are thoughts or feelings associated with this. And one of the reasons, I'm being very transparent here, is I don't want you to dive down the path of a feeling of despair or a feeling of uncertainty, those sorts of things. They're already there. And so if we dive too much into this, then all of a sudden that could paralyze any of the creativity that could come out of you to create what it is that you want. So feelings matter, but in this time with everything that's going on, some people are having a hard time separating their feelings to getting work done. I want you to get work done. So again, we're preloading the spring so that you can expand through the challenges that are taking place right now in the world and beyond. So we go from fruit and we go to this thing called focus. Okay, and focus dictates your habits or actions. In other words, what are the habits or actions that need to take place in each of the areas for me to hit my target? What are the habits or actions? Those are your new focus. What are the habits or actions that need to take place for me to hit my target? So where you are today is a result of the habits and the actions that you have taken over the course of the last 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, or year. For some of you, maybe you got side railed by everything that's going on right now, sidetracked by everything that's going on right now, and it really threw you off track. So your habits and your actions changed as a response to the feelings that you were having about everything that's going on in the world. And you've got to bring that focus in and focus on what it is that you want and start doing work, habits, and actions towards what it is that you want on a daily basis. And when you do that, your focus changes, your feelings change, your energy changes. So what are the habits and actions? So if I go right back to it and I go body, being, balance, business. What are the things that have to change for me to hit these targets? And you go, okay, well, for body, for some people, I just got to get back to working out. But that's not good enough. That's too general. So the habit needs to be, I work out 7 days a week for X amount of time. I work out 5 days a week for X amount of time. I become it's goal setting is what? Be specific. So I'm going to be specific. Now look at being. What habit is going to have to take place in being? So maybe that is, I'm doing Bible study. So I know that Bible study has to happen in the morning, because if it doesn't happen in the morning, it ain't happening for the rest of the day. So it's a Bible study and it's got to be in the morning at approximately 7 a.m. and it is for 15 minutes because I'm also journaling afterwards, right? So there's the habit that has to happen. I have to create this habit. For some of you, it might take you 90 days to create the habit. So I might say, okay, I want to do it every day. Well, if you say every day and the next week you miss it, you're gonna be like, well, shit, I can't hit it anymore. So it might be, I want to hit it every day by the end of the quarter. So I'm going to do 5 days a week or 4 days a week now. And then in month 2 at 60 days, I want to be able to say that I've now done 6 days a week. And by month 3, I want to be at 7 days a week, right? So you can shift it however you want, but what are the actions or habits that are going to have to take place? And by the way, I'm being very generalized here, but hopefully you get the point. You must be specific about the habits and actions that need to take place in your life, okay? Then we look at balance, same thing. For some people, like we like to go out on date nights with our spouse, and right now there's a lockdown, and you go, I don't know how long the lockdown is gonna be. Well, then that means I'm gonna have to figure out a way to have dates with my spouse at home. So I have to become creative. And so I'm gonna commit to 4 date nights a month, which is a total of 12 date nights over the course of the next 3 months. I'm taking on the challenge and I'm going to find a way to date my wife at home. Kids go to bed. I'm going to get up. I told my wife the other day, I'm like, I think we should dress up. I think we should dress up and we should have a date. And she's like, all right, I'm all in. Like, why wouldn't you just dress up and you have a date? Kids are in bed. We're going to have a date. We're going to sit down, have a glass of wine, talk, maybe make out underneath the stars. I don't know. But it's a matter of having targets for your balance and with your kids. And for so many people, it's the first time they've been able to spend this much time with their children. So invest in that time. What are things that you want to be able to say that you've done with your children at the end of 90 days? Be very, very clear on this. And what are the acts? So that's the fruit, right? What are the habits and actions that are going to have to take place? For some people, if you're working at home for the first time, you have to be able to create a separation between work and play. and understand it's okay. Like, I need to go play with my kids now and be able to release from the work because it's now at your house. But now all of a sudden you go, no, I'm going to make sure that every Wednesday I'm doing this with the kids. I'm going to make sure that I'm doing 10 minutes individual time with each child each day. I don't know what it is, but those are the habits, right? That's a habit. That's an action that needs to take place. This should be drawn out and written out. You need to be very, very clear on all of the habits and actions that need to take place. And then you look at your business, and I want to hit maybe X dollar amount. Oh, we got the eraser on still. I want to hit X dollar amount, okay, by the end of the quarter. Okay, well, what are the actions that I can take and habits that I can take from a marketing perspective and a messaging perspective right now, from a relationship building perspective right now? What are the things I can do in my business to build my business right now so that we are foundationally strong when I walk back in? What are the things you can do now for outreach? Go back to phase 1, right? So what are the habits and actions that need to take place? In some instances, to preload the spring so that you can expand. In other instances, so that you are literally just taking the actions right now, maybe rewriting an employee book, the experience for your patients, rewriting maybe the patient education systems in your practice. There's so many things that you can be doing. Those are the habits and actions that you will take. When you've done that, you now have a list of things that you can be working on to ensure that you hit not just the goal in your business at the end of 90 days. God forbid if this went on that long, what you've at minimum done is you have created an opportunity for yourself to grow and expand in these areas, no matter what. You've consciously put effort into those areas, which means for all of us, it means we've stepped up as leaders. And we're still doing work on our business, and the energy that we get from body being in balance, we take into our businesses to grow and expand that business. So that is working on focus. So what you're gonna do right now, you're gonna hit pause. You're gonna go through this. What are the habits and actions for body? Write them all down. What are the habits and actions for being? Write them all down. Balance, write them all down. Separated with spouse. And if you have children, then what is it for your children as well? And then business, looking at your bank accounts, looking at your systems, your procedures, your education, your marketing. Yes, you must look at all of those things because all of those things need new actions and habits or a level up of the actions and habits in order to grow your business. That one should take you a little while to do. And you now have new references based on customer experience, team experience, culture. You also have a whole new list of things that you want to have behind that culture. So this one should take you a little while. Do not rush it. This is your life that we're talking about. Be very, very clear on what it is that you want. All right, so roll up your sleeves, get to work. We'll come back for one more segment. All right, welcome back. Dr. Troy here, and we are hitting the final piece of this puzzle. We've already said that we wanted to look at fruit, which we've done. Feelings, we took a break from, but I'm still gonna write it. Focus, the exercise you should have just completed, and right now we are looking at facts. When we look at facts, we want to look at two specific areas: what we need to learn, who we can leverage. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to look at your targets. You are going to look at your targets, and with your targets, you're going to identify, in order for me to hit my target in body, what do I need to learn, or who do I need to leverage? And again, don't just race through this stuff. What do I need to learn? Who do I need to leverage? Maybe it's your spouse. For some, oftentimes my clients, I need to leverage my coach more, right? So I need to leverage. So what do I need to learn? Who do I need to leverage? So I just simply come in and I go, okay, so for body, what do I need to learn? And I jot down what I need to learn. Maybe it's intermittent fasting. You want to do intermittent fasting. You go, all right, I want to study on intermittent fasting, so I need to learn intermittent fasting. But I also want to do, I want to take some new supplementation, and I can leverage people there. I'm a part of a group that I know a couple people who do nutrition, so I'm just going to ask a few people in there to give me some pointers on nutrition. So I have somebody I can learn from in terms of what I need to, or I know where I need to go to learn, and then I know who I need to leverage. And then I go to being, and I go, okay, well, what do I need for being? Well, for being, what do I need to learn? I need to just learn more about God and being more connected. So I need to learn, how to do that. Where am I going to find that from? Well, I got a pastor at church and he seems to be really good at it, or I have a couple of friends and they just seem so connected that I think maybe I need to leverage them. So instead of learning, I'm learning from the book, but I need to leverage. I need to leverage the people that I know that seem to have what it is that I want, which is that deep connection. And you'll know through conversation with them if they really have it or not, or if they're full of shit. Okay, so then I look at balance and I say, okay, well, what do I need to learn in balance? Maybe some people don't have ideas. Like I don't have ideas on what to do for at-home date nights. I don't have an idea for what to do with my kids being quote unquote stuck at home, right? And so it's like, okay, well, man, I don't know what to do. Well, there are actually books out on stuff like this that you can go and say, fun things to do with the family at home, or do it yourself, DIY, family fun. Look up things like that so I can learn some things where I can leverage. I'm a part of a community. I can just ask people within the community, like, hey, what are you doing with your kids that's fun? Hey, what are some different things you've done for date night with your spouse? And again, you're leveraging and you're learning. And then it's the same thing with my business. What do I need to do for business? And I go, man, I've been, I really want to get more social media exposure. And so I need to learn a little bit more about that, but I don't want to learn so much because I really am not interested in ads. I'm not interested in boosting posts, right? So it's like, I need to learn how to do some things on social media. So I might want to learn, I'm going to write it this way. I might want to learn like marketing stuff, because marketing and messaging, like I'm really, I love doing. I love marketing and messaging. And then I go on the other side and I say, well, but then who can I leverage? And I go, well, I do know people. So I know 3 people who do ads. So I'm going to reach out to those 3 people and I'm going to pick one to be the person that I'm going to leverage to actually just go ahead and do my ads. Right? So again, you go through this whole entire thing. When we look at facts, we're saying, what do I need to learn, or who do I need to leverage? And again, this is you stopping and taking a look at each one of those areas right now and completing the exercise. And by the time you've done this, at completion of this exercise, you will walk away with what it is that you want in the next 90 days. You will walk away with, I should say, start first, a review of the last 90 days, what you want for the next 90 days. You'll also have clarity of the focus and the actions that you have to take. And you'll also know who you need to reach out to get additional support. And you'll also know the things that you might need to take upon yourself to go ahead and learn. You're ready to go, which means that from this step, you can move to a phase 5, because in phase 5, you're taking these actions and you're making sure that you plan them daily. This becomes a part of putting these into a daily schedule that you are checking into, and you're checking in with yourself, or you're checking in with our group, and you're not only you holding yourself accountable, but it offers everybody around you to help to hold you accountable. And that means that you take a look at your schedule, and instead of living by this randomness, if you're a person who can't go back to work at all, instead of living by random days, you actually have the discipline to put these things into your schedule every single day, so that when you get to the end of the day, you know that you have taken actions towards creating what it is that you want in your life. I don't even know what to say to that. It gets me excited if you can't tell how fired up I get about that. So it's a matter of you then learning how to schedule and put these things into a schedule and following it day in and day out, so that you are going to work daily, whether you are physically going to work daily or not. And if you do this, you are going to find that you're taking everything more seriously in your life. And I mean in a good way, not like, oh, I'm serious and stiff. I mean like, yeah, I've got a sense of urgency here because I want to knock it out of the park in my health and be as strong and as healthy as I can. I want to knock it out of the park in my communication with God because I know I've been detached. I want to knock it out in my relationship with my spouse and my children because I realize that maybe I've been detached because of work. And then I look at business like I want to grow and I want to preload the spring so that I can come out and be on top and be the leader that I was meant to be in my business, in my community, and in my profession. And if you're working towards those things on a daily basis, your focus is going to be on attraction of what's good and what's right, not on distraction, what takes you away from family, from life, from business, from everything that you've always known and loved, including connection to God. So please roll up your sleeves, get to work on this. We're here, do the facts. What do I need to learn? Who do I need to leverage in all 4 of these areas? Roll up your sleeves and get to work.